It's the middle of summer. The sun is beating down, and your room feels like the inside of a furnace. You're sweating, exhausted, and desperate for relief. So, what is the very first thing you do? You walk over to the corner of the room, plug in your electric fan, and point it directly at your face. Ah, instant relief. The breeze cools your skin, and you finally feel safe. But what if I told you that this basic human instinct, this simple machine that you trust, might actually be cooking you alive from the inside out? Today, we are going to explore the terrifying science of heat waves, and why turning on your fan in the wrong conditions isn't just useless, it's a fatal mistake. To understand why your fan is secretly betraying you, we first need to understand how the human body survives. You are a biological engine, constantly burning fuel and generating heat. To stop you from overheating, your brain uses a brilliant defense mechanism, sweating. When your internal temperature rises, water is pushed to the surface of your skin. As this sweat evaporates into the air, it takes the heat away with it. This is called evaporative cooling. Now, where does the fan come in? A fan doesn't actually lower the temperature of the room. Not even by a single degree. All a fan does is move air. It pushes the stagnant air away from your body, allowing new air to hit your skin, speeding up the evaporation of your sweat. You feel colder, but the room is exactly the same. So, if a fan speeds up evaporation, why is it dangerous? The answer lies in a critical threshold, the 95-degree mark, or 35 degrees Celsius. When the temperature of the air in your room is lower than your body temperature, the fan blows cool air onto you. But what happens during an extreme heat wave? What happens when the room temperature hits 96, 98, or 100 degrees Fahrenheit? When the air is hotter than your skin, the physics of the fan completely reverse. Instead of blowing cool air to speed up evaporation, the fan starts blowing intensely hot air directly onto your body. It is no longer a cooling device. It has become a convection oven. Just like a fan inside an oven circulates hot air. To cook a turkey faster, your electric fan is now aggressively forcing hot air into your skin, raising your core body temperature at a terrifying speed. Always remember this critical warning: never use an electric fan when the temperature is above 95 degrees Fahrenheit. But the temperature is only half of the nightmare. The real killer is the silent assassin known as humidity. Remember how sweating cools you down? That only works if the sweat can actually evaporate into the air. But if you live in a humid climate, the air is already saturated with moisture. It's like a sponge that is already full of water. When you sweat in high humidity, the sweat doesn't evaporate. It just sits on your skin, boiling. In these conditions, turning on a fan is practically suicide. You are blowing 100-degree, moisture-heavy air onto a body that cannot sweat. Your internal organs begin to overheat. You experience dizziness, confusion, and eventually, a deadly condition known as heat stroke. Your brain literally begins to cook, and you won't even realize it's happening until it's too late. Your body temperature reaches a dangerous fever level of 104 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a medical emergency that requires immediate intervention. This isn't just theory. It's written in tragedy. In August 2003, a catastrophic heatwave struck Europe. For weeks, temperatures soared above 104 degrees Fahrenheit. In France alone, thousands of people, mostly the elderly, were trapped in their unair-conditioned apartments. Panicked, they did exactly what we all do: they closed their windows to block the sun, and turned their fans on maximum speed. They thought they were saving themselves. But instead, they trapped themselves in convection ovens. Paramedics later found victims sitting directly in front of their fans, unaware that the device meant to save them had accelerated their death. Their heart rates flatlined as their bodies failed, resulting in a sudden and tragic end. The 2003 heatwave claimed over 70,000 lives across Europe. Many of them died not because they didn't have a fan, but because they didn't understand the fatal physics of extreme heat. So, if your trusted fan turns into a weapon above 95 degrees, what are you supposed to do? The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention are very clear: if the temperature in your room exceeds 95 degrees Fahrenheit, you must stop using a fan immediately. Instead, you have to artificially lower your skin temperature. Take a cold shower. Soak a t-shirt in ice water or drape a cold wet towel over your neck. Apply an ice pack to lower your core temperature quickly. Block the sun by closing your heavy curtains during the peak hours of the day. If you have absolutely no air conditioning, your best chance of survival is to leave your house completely. Go to a public library, a shopping mall, or a movie theater. Spending just 2 hours in an air-conditioned building can completely reset your body's core temperature and save your life. We live in a world that is undeniably getting hotter. Heat waves are becoming longer, more frequent, and more extreme. Massive heat domes trap hot air over entire countries, pushing temperatures to dangerous new records. The survival tactics of the past are no longer enough. Your fan is a tool, not a savior. It is a machine that relies on a delicate balance of biology and physics. Sometimes, this balance breaks completely. The heat forces your cardiovascular system into overworking mode, placing immense stress on your heart. And remember, these extreme conditions are not safe for pets either. They struggle to cool down even faster than humans. The next time the summer heat becomes unbearable, and the air around you feels like fire, think twice before you reach for that switch. Because sometimes, the very thing you think is cooling you down, is the exact thing pushing you closer to the edge. Stay cool, stay informed, and never underestimate the invisible power of extreme heat. But even in cooler temperatures, leaving a fan on overnight while you sleep carries hidden health risks that most people ignore. As the fan circulates air, it creates a continuous draft that evaporates moisture from your eyes, mouth, and nasal passages. You wake up with dry, irritated eyes, a scratchy throat, and a stuffed nose. But it gets worse. A fan doesn't just move air, it moves everything suspended in that air. It acts like a low-powered wind tunnel, constantly circulating dust, pollen, pet dander, and dust mites throughout your room. If you suffer from allergies, asthma, or sinus issues, sleeping with a fan blowing directly on you is like breathing in a constant stream of triggers. Your sinuses react by producing excess mucus to protect themselves, leaving you congested in the morning, mistakenly believing you've caught a cold. This brings us to one of the most famous urban legends in the world, the phenomenon of fan death in South Korea. For decades, it was widely believed that sleeping in a closed room with an electric fan running overnight could result in death. The belief was so strong that the South Korean government and consumer safety boards issued official warnings. And manufacturers even added a mandatory sleep timer switch to all fans sold in the country. The theories claimed that the fan could create a vacuum, causing suffocation. Or that it could drop the body temperature so low it caused hypothermia. While modern science has thoroughly debunked these theories, proving that a simple fan cannot suffocate you or freeze you to death, the myth has a dark, hidden truth. The real cause of these overnight deaths wasn't the fan's motor or airflow, it was heat stroke. Elderly individuals, sleeping in tightly sealed, unventilated rooms during extreme summer heat waves, turned on fans that acted as convection ovens, cooking them in their sleep. The myth of fan death was actually real death caused by extreme heat waves. So, how can you use a fan safely and effectively when you don't have air conditioning? The secret lies in understanding airflow and ventilation hacks. First, never point a fan directly at your body if the room is hotter than 95 degrees. Instead, place the fan in a window, but point it facing outward. This sounds counterintuitive, but it uses fluid dynamics to pull the hot air out of your room, creating a low-pressure zone that draws cooler air in through other windows. Second, create a DIY air conditioner by placing a large bowl of ice directly in front of the fan. As the ice melts, the fan blows the cooled, evaporating water vapor across the room, providing a genuine drop in temperature. By understanding the physics of heat transfer and evaporation, you can turn a potentially dangerous machine into a safe, life-saving cooling tool.